Hello and welcome to the Force Friday show where we discuss all things Star Wars. And joining me as ever is Stephen to discuss a whole host of interesting topics. Stephen, I'm sure you'll agree. And the headline, the first one we're going to discuss, is all about John Williams composing or set to compose new Star Wars music for the Disney parks attractions. We've also had a couple of other little interesting tidbits released surrounding the Galaxy Edge attractions in the North American parks. We're not getting this in Disney Euro or anything, so it's not that we're going to be going to see them anytime soon, Stephen. But interesting videos, the Resistance, the rise of the Resistance, and just a short little video about the Smuggler's Run attraction. But what's your thoughts on this? What did you make of these short little videos of the attractions themselves, and what did you make of that 2-minute piece showing you obviously I believe the London Symphony Orchestra at the Abbey Road Studios performing some of the music we're going to get here? What do you make of it?
I like it, John. One of the things I like most about this article is that it's going to be new, composed music from John Williams. There was a lot of criticisms in regards to The Last Jedi score. I thought it was well worked. There was a lot of regurgitated classic themes in there that were combined and reused, and some might say regurgitated, but nevertheless it was still a Star Wars film, still a John Williams music, and I'm glad to see they're taking this to this theme park in North America. I don't know how we're going to get to experience this, as we're
with a GoPro camera on our head.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way forward for us anyway, certainly at this stage. But I don't really see this coming over to the Paris Disneyland anyway. Sure. But listen, I like the thought that John Williams is going to get back in and he's going to compose new music for this. He's got the London Symphony Orchestra behind them as well, so you can't go wrong there, and it's going to be recorded at Abbey Road Studios, the world famous Abbey Road Studios, EMI. And I just like it because they're not going to just take some classic themes. They're not going to be lazy and half-hearted about it. They're going and investing a lot in this, not just financially, but to give it that authentic feel and to give it a new experience for Star Wars fans who will be very lucky enough to go and visit this theme park, giving them the opportunity to experience this as a new thing, just like Star Wars was when it came out in 1977. Yes. It's going to be a new experience for them because there's going to be a new score involved.
Yes, and listen, you can't have Star Wars without John Williams as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what the hell they're going to do once the man passes, as we did say before we came on, Stephen. It's going to be an incredible experience. I hope one day I can go over and experience it myself, because just looking at that video, it was incredible. The shots of the park, how it's all coming together, the attention to detail was just mind-blowing. The sets, the rocky formations, it's incredible that we've seen these little small scale replica models from about maybe, I think it was a year ago, 2017. I've seen the early excavation of the site. I think it's replacing another site, I can't remember, it may be Tomorrowland or something, one of the first ones that was in there. It's replacing, and just seeing it going from a dugout piece of land with some tiny little features popping up here and there to seeing what it is now. This big, amazing...
lived in. Yeah. It is though, it is. It's very lived in, John. That's one of the things that Star Wars do well. It's not all shiny and glossy, which it should be because it's brand new. It doesn't look brand new. Yes. It looks dirty. It looks rusty. It looks manky. That's a Scottish word.
It is. That's one thing I did take, Stephen, from the Smuggler's Run ride as well. It's certainly Han Solo's Falcon. It's certainly not the Solo style Falcon, which was all gleaming and had cake closets and whatnot in bars. This is the old school Falcon, grime and all. And it was just, again, the attention to detail on all of the attractions as well. I don't know how it's going to work. Whether you're going to have to slap people out the way to get into the driving seat of the Falcon. Some maybe want to call shotgun and be Chewie for a brief moment. I don't know how that would work. I think you'd have queues running the length of Florida in LA to try and get into this ride. I think they've got some scheme where you can jump the queue. I can't remember, it's some ticket where you can jump the queue ahead of regular plebs at the park. But look what they've put together here, just the ships, the attractions, the buildings, just the sets and stuff, the rocky formations, and just getting John Williams in to compose a new set of music for these attractions at this park. It's going to be the icing on top of the cake. It wouldn't be the same without his magical touch. As we did say, he's just got that certain touch. He knows how to He's got the feel. He knows how to create that special music, which is absolutely synonymous with Star Wars. And it's going to be a magical experience. I think the first brush I'm going to have with it, sadly, is someone with a GoPro either attached to their head or snuck on their persons walking around. I've seen the Harry Potter stuff through a similar thing with someone with a GoPro. And again, it's just amazing the attention to detail these big studios bring to these different things. Just right down to the drinks being sold at the cantina, to the set designs, as I did say, to just the people role-playing and the roles. We see it with the Rise of the Resistance video, people in full stormtrooper suits. You see people in full officer suits. You've got the little droids buzzing around. It's going to be an incredible experience to really live. And just again, I'm happy to see John Williams composing music. Anytime the guy can step into Abbey Road Studios and give us something special, I'm happy for it, because he's getting on in his years. And I want to see him finish Star Wars Episode 9 and then maybe retire, because it's the time is coming, sadly, when he's going to have to rest his conductor baton, whatever the hell it is, and call it a day, because he's not getting any younger. But look, if he wants to continue on doing it for the rest of his life, then I'm not going to argue with him. But look, this is great news. I'm happy. I can't wait to see what he produces. A lot of people slaughtered The Last Jedi's music. I didn't. I thought it was okay. It was a good amalgamation of classic themes and whatnot. The Yoda theme, the reworking of the classic Imperial March at the end was amazing. That's one of my favourite moments, one of my favourite scenes, and that's down to the great man John Williams. So great to see he's imparting some of his genius onto these new attractions at the parks, because they're gambling a lot on these parks being a success, and I'm sure they will be. They'll have about 6 million people popping up to see it in the first 6 months, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a massive waiting list to get into this park, John. It's been building up for the last three years now, and we're finally getting to see the final product. And you're right, I think there's going to be an outpouring of Star Wars fans throughout the world that are going to flock to visit this attraction, and I think it's going to be like that for maybe the next 2 or 3 years. I think there's going to be quite a waiting list to go on certain attractions, as you said, the cockpit and the Millennium Falcon. How that will work, I don't know, because it's a very condensed area. So I don't know how that work. Whether you'll be timed to sit in the chair and back out again. I don't know how it will work. Whether you'll get your own photograph taken in the cockpit, who knows? So listen, if we're fortunate enough to ever get over there, certainly it's one of the things that are top of my list to go and experience, because I think it's one of these once in a lifetime things, especially for guys like ourselves who are, at the other side of the world. Yeah,
Stephen, and I'm going to move on though, because I ain't got much more to add to it. It's a great piece of news. I'm always happy to see the man stepping back into Star Wars mode with his conducting, because he's just got the touch. But the next topic we're going to be discussing is a little bit more speculation heavy, as the rest of the topics in the show are going to be. It's all about Leia's family. This is no joke. This is from Wired, and they say Leia's family loves Episode 9. Leia's family, not Carrie Fisher's family. So what is Leia's family again? Is it Luke Skywalker, Ben Solo, Han Solo from the grave, Padme? No, but I didn't. Yeah, but I think what they're saying here, they've mixed up Leia and Carrie Fisher. Billy Lord apparently has done a short little comment on Star Wars Episode 9. It's going to be a brief topic, Stephen. But she basically says, I've got to watch myself because Star Wars PD is going to come and get me, but it is incredible. I've read the script and I've been on set. I was on set for like 3 weeks back in September, and it's going to be magical. Now, this is what they're taking from this. They're saying that the family loves it. I think she's just speaking about her experience more than really the film itself. I'm not surprised she loves it. Her role slowly grew as the films have advanced in the sequel trilogy, though. She got a bigger role in The Last Jedi. Obviously, she was one of the first Resistance members we see in the film, out with, I believe, Poe Dameron. He comes in with his prank call, and then it goes down to the planet. I can't remember what that planet was ever called, actually, but she's one of the first faces we see, and now she's going to be in this again, and I'm glad to see it, because it's keeping that connection to Carrie Fisher going, out with of the potential rotoscoping of the late actress herself into the film through obviously archive footage. So it's great to see she's keeping that connection going into Episode 9, and I'm glad to see she's found it to be a magical experience and she's enjoyed her time on the set. I do hope she's seen a glimpse of what they're doing with Carrie Fisher's unused footage from the Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, and this is maybe what she's hinting at, more so than her own experience on the set, because it would just be magical on a Star Wars set anyway, Stephen, getting to stand next to Chewbacca, seeing these sets and being a part of it.
I got to be honest, John. I don't think the film's anywhere near that. That production of it. This was something they were only talking about maybe 8 weeks ago. Yeah. What they're planning on doing. I don't imagine they've got any sort of final product. But I think possibly that Billy Lord's probably saw some, storyboard and some artwork in regards to what they're going to do, and possibly some. Really raw attempts at the moment from what they're going to do with the rotoscoping and the unused footage as well. I think I'm just glad to see that when Carrie Fisher passed away, the speculation was running rife for a good year in regards to what they were going to do with the character. Was it going to be CG? Was it going to be another actress coming in to replace her? They talked about Meryl Streep coming in to replace her, and they didn't know what to do. Should we kill off the character and just put what happened to her in the opening crawl, which I thought was a terrible idea. So this is the only way it's going to work, using archive footage and rotoscoping her into the storyline. I think the Fisher family will know more than any of us what they're going to be doing with Carrie Fisher's character, and rightly so, because they've given the green light for this to happen. It's got their blessing, and I'm pretty sure at the early stages they would have had a good idea what they were going to do with Leia. Before the Fisher family were permitted this, so it's good to see. I don't really take a lot out of this article. You're right. I think Billy Lord's talking about the movie in general here in regards to it's going to be magical. She's read the script. I'm very jealous of that. I'd love to read that script because there's so much speculation going on just now, which we will go into as the show moves merrily forward. But I don't really take a lot out of this. I think the minute it was announced Carrie Fisher was going to appear in episode 9, the family had already approved it anyway, and they were happy with what they were going to do. So it's nice to know that it's come out into the sort of public domain that the Fisher family are happy with the way things are going.
Well, we've also had a brother, Stephen Todd, I believe it is, Fisher, speaking at length about his happiness, about the way the character's going to be handled, the way his sister's memory is going to be handled, and the culminative end to this saga trilogy. Sequel trilogy. It could be the saga story completely. We don't know yet. So again, I'm just happy to see Billy Lord's getting a bit of happiness. I mean, she's been through so much over the last year and a half, 2 years. So anything that brings happiness to her, then I'm happy for that to be the case. But the other thing I take from this again is just the general outpouring of excitement from the actors that are involved in this film behind the scenes. You've seen Oscar Isaac speak about it. How it's got a different feel to it. It's very happy and very upbeat on the set. About J.J. Abrams having a relaxed feeling. He's quite happy for them to ad-lib and do their own things. If they think they can add a bit of flourish or flair to a scene that may be going off kilter with the script in there, he's happy for them to do it. So it's feeling very relaxed. It's feeling like a nice workplace to be at. Things seem to be going well. Everyone involved seems to be coming out and speaking very highly about it. Not to say they weren't doing that with The Last Jedi, but I'm getting more and more excited and upbeat and happy about this new episode that's obviously forthcoming, and I can't wait to see what role she's got, Billy Lord, because I did enjoy her character in The Last Jedi for what it was. It was a nice little character, and again the connection, and I can't wait to see what they do with Carrie Fisher and Princess Leia, because it's going to be very intriguing to see how they fit this in an organic manner. Where the characters are interacting, you don't really notice. I'm sure JJ will do a great job. But I'm going to move on, Stephen, to the next topic. And it's again speculation heavy. It's all about Luke having a potential Sith scene with Rey and a shock Darth Vader storyline. I don't quite get from this article what the shock Darth Vader storyline is. I think they're hinting that Darth Vader may have a moment with either of them. I don't know, maybe the two of them together, one of them together, one of them separate. I don't know what the hell is going on. What's clear, it's from the Express, and it's therefore from Mike Zero. So you can take, again, this story with a heavy pinch of salt. But it's intriguing. They're going into Kaiwa crystals. I think there was an image released of Anakin's destroyed lightsaber from The Last Jedi. And we see the crystals half right down the middle. And again, I don't know whether this is canon or not, because we never really see the destroyed crystal in the film itself. I don't think we do anyway. So what they're then hinting at is that for Rey to then construct her own lightsaber, she's going to have to go off and get another Kaiwa crystal. And that there's a moment in The Last Jedi where Luke speaks or appears to Rey, or may even be sharing the presence literally. He may be still alive, Stephen, as we'll get into as the show goes on. but he has a moment with Rey where he's levitating this crystal. The two of them are levitating. It's a red crystal, and what they're hinting at is it may be a combination of a light side and a dark side crystal, a red crystal and a blue crystal, and this is hinting that she may have ties to the Skywalker lineage, or she may be this generation's chosen one, where she's able to balance both sides of the Force harmoniously for her own desires, basically. So I don't know what to make of it. It's from Mike Zero.
It's quite sketchy,
I mean, it'd be intriguing to see just the whole Kyber crystal thing getting done on live action on a screen, because we never really get to see a lightsaber being constructed properly. We obviously had that deleted scene in the Return of the Jedi where Luke's using like a compass that I'd used in graphics back in the day in school to screw in the bolts onto his lightsaber, and then he also switches it on. So it'd be very cool to see her constructing the lightsaber. I hope we do share a little 20-second scene of her constructing this lightsaber, and if it involves Luke's presence and him obviously imparting his wisdom on her how to do it, because this is a man that's constructed his own lightsaber, and a very dapper looking lightsaber indeed, my favourite from all the sagas. So I don't know what to make of it. I'd be happy to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's Mike Zero.
Yeah, it's very sketchy. It's a very sketchy report as well, John.
It is very sketchy.
Yeah,
some of the spelling.
The Kyber crystal. There was a brief line in Rogue One as well on Jeddah, I think it was. The crystals that that the Jedi's construct for their lightsabers was mentioned,
and also I think on the Death Star to create the weapon.
Yeah, the laser. That's right. But that line there as well is quite. It says it's a unique new lightsaber that would possibly combine two colours. It certainly would be unique. I don't know if I would like that blue and red together. I don't know how that would work, I've got to be honest with you.
Give you purple?
Definitely get down the Mace Windu route. But the other thing as well I'm not really keen on is any interactions between Anakin and Rey. I don't see the purpose of that. Why don't we just throw Qui-Gon in there as well? She didn't know him either. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, she didn't know Obi-Wan. Stephen he was contacting her. This was your first step. So
yeah, so there is a bit of a step up there in regards to the Force connection. I don't know what J.J. Abrams was planning with that whole sequence, to be fair, though, in regards to having the likes of the voice of Yoda in there. I think it was all callbacks that were related to the lightsaber itself, though, whether or not everything that's sort of that's the lightsaber's witnessed through its its timeline. I think that's the only reason you hear the likes of Obi-Wan and Yoda and the Emperor and that, because that lightsaber was around all these characters. In this instance, I don't know. I think it's getting too mystical. I think you've got to keep it very simple at this stage now. You don't want to leave more questions up in there without answers. You've got a film that they're talking about. It's going to have a duration of possibly 3 hours. It's going to be the longest Star Wars movie ever made. That's the rumour anyway. I don't really want to get bogged down in more questions. I would like this just to be put to bed, to be honest with you, John. I'm not really keen on this. Yes. I think if there's going to be any interactions between Anakin and Rey, Luke certainly has to be present as well. That could be a bit jarring, though, that we're going to get Hayden Christensen, who's probably in his mid-30s just now, who's playing the father of a man in his late 60s. Bit strange, but we'll see how it goes. But this whole Kyber crystal thing, I'm not really that interested. I think they covered it enough in the Rogue One line, and of course the deleted scene that was in Return of the Jedi, which everyone has probably seen on YouTube anyway.
Well, it turns out, Stephen, there's actually a slight twist in what I was saying there about Darth Vader. It turns out they're not hinting at him appearing in this particular scene, although there's been major hints that Anakin or Darth will appear at some point, or Vader will appear at some point. I'm giving them his title and not his name.
Just like Obi-Wan did.
Yeah, just like Obi-Wan did. So technically that's canon. But look, what they're saying is it may be a Kyber crystal from his original lightsaber, which has survived the blast of the Death Star 2 in Return of the Jedi, and it's somehow made its way to Rey. So she's got his original Kyber crystal.
Yeah, that
would hint at the chosen one thing.
That lightsaber went down the shaft, though, didn't it? When it was cut off, with the hand. So
but so did Luke's.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So it's went down the same sort of journey.
You never know, Stephen. It may be the Emperor's clone. He may have been waiting down there, the newly cloned Emperor, saying, "Here you go, I'll catch you. There you go, you're dead. I'll take over now and there. I'll keep that lightsaber for the future for my granddaughter that I've willed into existence through the Force." it's all going a little bit sketchy, isn't it?
Yep, that's
But
what happens when you mention the name Mike Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see a red lightsaber getting in hands of Rey. That would hint that she's dark side, and it's too late for us to do that storyline justice. If you want to do that, you do it in the middle film, and then play that story out in the final film and see how it works out. But nah, it's not going to happen. It's a lot of crap, and I'm going to move on to another speculative final topic, and it's again all about Luke Skywalker perhaps having a surprising return in episode 9. This is a rumour from the Express, which means it may or may not be coming straight from the horse's mouth of Mike Zero, and it's all about, look, given the detail of the scene that's playing out here, I think this is probably Mike Zero's handiwork. I think this guy stays up to about 3 or 4 in the morning writing out these theories and then willing them into existence through his YouTube channel, where he gets a ridiculous amount of views of people just sycophants licking up, and then they're all inevitably disappointed when it turns out it's a complete and utter pile of crap. Here's hoping he's right here though, because this is something I've been praying for myself. Basically the bones of this theory that the Express, it may not even be him pushing forward, is that Luke Skywalker appears in front of Rey in a jungle world. In the background are some ancient stone steps that lead into a Jedi temple of some kind. Luke appears to be in his physical form, as if he is not dead, but he may be a Force ghost, more solid this time. But so basically, essentially, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but essentially what they're hinting at here is that his green lightsaber in his hand, his hilt in his hand, which Rey then subsequently examines, and what they're essentially hinting at here is that Luke isn't dead. He goes on to give her lessons teaching her how to develop a lightsaber like his, much like that topic we were talking about before. But at Luke's face, he doesn't have a beard and he's got shorter hair, so I don't know how that would work out. I don't think Mark's cut his hair, or has he? He did have a moment, or a couple of months or something like that, where he didn't have a beard, so I suppose it is possible. But I really do hope this would be the case. I'd love to see Luke not having died. I'd love to maybe have this weird Inception thing where he was force projecting himself onto Act 2 from another planet, and then he was then subsequently force projecting himself onto Crate. So when he disappeared on that jutting bit of rock in front of the dual sunset, that was just him disappearing back to the other planet he was on. I would love that to be the case. Yeah. Clutching mega at straws though.
Yeah. It was all mirrors.
Yeah, it was all mirrors.
I think, John, if you don't have that scene in The Last Jedi, that final shot, then you could probably get away with that. You know, if you just see him vanish at the end of the Crate scene, then this certainly could work. But you can't do this. You know, you can't have a moment like that in The Last Jedi. You know, where the sunsets. You have the John Williams music. It's a more emotional version of the score, and you look back at, I think it looks back at Rey, then it looks back at Leia's reaction to Luke's passing. Although I know Rey doesn't actually say that he died, that he's
I think he's gone now.
He's gone, yeah. And there's a sadness in Leia's face, and her acceptance that her brother has moved on to the Force. You take all that away if you do this. That description sounds quite intriguing. It's very, very detailed. Now, the first part of that, this description reminded me of those set shots. I think they might have been. I don't know if it was very. It was a very bad photograph, as I recall, from the set, and it's as if the person who wrote this, I'll not say who it is because we don't know who it is, but I think I know who it is. Has taken that set shot and built a story around it. That's what it sounds like to me, because I remember we, in the run up to The Last Jedi, we had this very similar scene, the description of the Knights of Ren fighting Luke and Rey on the beach of Act 2, which we never got to see. It never happened. It was never in the mind of Rian Johnson to even write such a scene, and it makes you wonder where it comes from. It's obviously coming from Star Wars fans' imaginations, and I think this is another one.
Yeah, well, it turns out, Stephen, I've done some short little research here while you were speaking, and it turns out the source is indeed a certain Mr. Mike Zero. So there you go. Take that with a massive pinch of salt, because this man talks shite like no other when it comes to Star Wars. I don't think there's been any of his theories turned out to be true. I'm not putting forward any theories because I know.
What we do.
Yeah, it's not what we do. And first of all, First of all, it's not what we're doing. Second of all, I ain't got a clue. I ain't got any contacts in any studio. Certainly not Disney. I'm not close to J.J. Abrams, although I wish I was, because I would have a cameo in Star Wars. A little short for a stormtrooper, sadly. Only stand at around about 5'8". I do recall, I think Ian Wright getting knocked back about the same size as me because he was too short. So, can't be a stormtrooper, but I would happily take a set, just set dressing. I'd be a shorter Boba Fett if I could, you know. But look, this is... First thing I think of when I read this story is that this is just a disgrace. No, not Mike Zero, Stephen. The damage this would do to the relationships between Qui-Gon, who we never see but must have a blue hint, Yoda, and obviously Anakin, who stuck in blue hint form of Force Ghost, and here's Luke Skywalker, almighty Luke Skywalker, becomes so powerful with the Force, has such a incredible extensive knowledge that he can now shake off that blue form of the Force Ghost. He can stand like a human being, fully alive. That would put tremendous strain on his relationships. They'll be like, what's going on here? You're standing looking human and we have to look crappy, blue and invisible. What are you doing? Share some of your knowledge, Luke.
I think the purpose of this report, John, is to attract the sort of the bigger percentage of the fan base that don't want Luke to die, basically. You know, they don't want that character to go.
Skywalker's going to die.
And listen, you know, I'm as big a Luke Skywalker fan as anyone out there, as you know, John, and so are you. You know, after The Last Jedi, I accepted it. It was as simple as that. So, you know, it's just one of those things that I didn't want to happen, but I think the way it did happen was probably the best way it could happen.
Yes, look, as you said, Stephen, Luke Skywalker's my favourite character in Star Wars. For a long time I thought he was Star Wars. So I do hope he has a big role as potentially a Force Ghost. We maybe see him in a flashback or something like that. Because even if we are seeing him maybe training Rey in one of these shots in the episode 9 with shorter hair and a beard and stuff, it just doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense to me. How can he be training her with short hair and no beard? When she met him, he had a beard. He died with a beard. It doesn't make sense to me. But look, if they can somehow shoehorn him into a big role and it feels organic and it doesn't disrupt the tone or the pacing of the film, give us some shots of him maybe pulling down bloody Star Destroyers on Jakku, I'm all for it. Certainly if it's those horrendous set designed weird costume things we've seen on those desert set photos, then I'm all for him destroying those creepy ass things. But I digress. I'm giving him a lot of crap here, much like Mike Zero, and that is going to round up this episode of the Force Friday Show, where we do discuss all things Star Wars. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we will be back next Tuesday with Box Office Chat.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.